Last week, I had a conversation with a couple of people. The creator of the Dairy is Scary YouTube video and campaign, and also the chapter, the vegan chapter here in Halifax, president. And I promised we would follow it up this week with somebody from industry, and in fact, we are doing that. I'm chatting with a dairy farmer in Nova Scotia. Gerrit Damsteegt joins me on the phone. Gerrit, what part of the province do you operate?
I operate in central part, Shubenacadie.
Shubenacadie, love it. Okay. So are you aware, I'm sure you're aware, obviously, of this campaign, Dairy is Scary. Have you watched the video or anything like that?
Yes, certainly very much aware of it, and very disappointed and sad, how we are being portrayed.
Okay, what are some of your key issues that you have with it? Some of the key things that you think where they get it wrong?
Now, certainly, like the picture they paint in regard to, they're taking calves away from their mom. It is, yes, we do take the calves away after they're born. But the reason we do that, because farmers, first of all, love their animals. Farmers, aren't in this business to just put a lot of hours in a week. They're in the business because they enjoy working with animals. And to enjoy that, you want healthy animals. You want to make sure you take care of them well. And that's the reason why we take the calf away, from the mom.
Okay, so I guess that some would say that there's always going to be a part of any type of agriculture, agri-food, when animals are involved, that might be a little difficult for people to see, or the reality of the farm is just by nature going to be jarring for some. Do you agree with that?
No, I agree that. I agree with that because a lot of the public is removed so far away from the farm. They, there's only a very small population that's actually in farming these days. But for example, the reason we take the calf away from the mother is to make sure that this calf is cared for well. Not every cow, looks well after the calves. Most do. But nevertheless, we got to make sure that within the first few hours, this calf gets enough colostrum. That's the first milk that has all kinds of antibodies in it to have a good start of life. And by us doing that and bottle feeding the calf, making sure it gets the right amount, everything is clean, sanitized, that's why we do it. And for that very reason, the calves get a great start in her life. And one day she becomes a cow as well and be a mother as well.
Would you say that not all dairy farmers have the same protocol or, I guess, methods, ethical methods? Does it vary, or do you think it's pretty consistent?
Now, I'm actually really glad you asked that question, Todd, because it's something I'm actually very proud of here in Canada. In Canada, we have a program. It's called Pro Action, and it's a mandatory program right across the country for every farmer. There is no choice. You got to be part of it. And all these things are monitored. One of the questions in that is, do you, provide the calf with, enough colostrum within the first 6 or 8 hours? And this is validated every year. And if there are any discrepancies, the farmer has to make sure these are corrected. So I'm very glad you asked that question.
Okay, the idea that the cows are, I don't know, lactosing or whatever the term would be, producing milk for a long period of time, and that's unhealthy and painful and all of that. How do you address that? That's one of the issues that was raised.
No, that's not fair either, because like I said, farmers make long hours. The days of a farmer isn't from 8 till 5. We start early, we finish late. The reason of that is that we have to get up early to milk the cow in time to make sure that there is not too much pressure on her udder, and if the cow wouldn't thrive, if the cow wasn't healthy, she wouldn't produce that milk. Any cow that gets not looked after well because of feeding or because of, sickness or so, will not produce milk. It's no different than for us human beings. When we, don't feel well, we can't produce well. So for that very reason, I don't buy that argument.
Okay, and obviously the males, the young males that are born and can't produce milk are slaughtered for veal at young ages. That's another one we hear. What's your take on, or what's your response to that?
Yeah, no, I believe that everyone has the right of their opinion and how they feel. But from a vegan perspective, I can appreciate that they might have an issue with that. There is many, and the largest majority within this country are people that still, eat meat and also, drink milk. And these are very important sources of protein that, that we need. For example, milk, when the suggestion is made, first of all, to switch to plant milk, to be honest, that's something that doesn't exist. There is no plant milk, so this is almost false. But second of all, milk, for example, has many nutritional benefits on vitamins and so on. And it is the leading source of calcium. Children need it for growth and for development. And not only children, all of us need it for muscle strength. So for that very reason, I believe within the food basket, there is a place for meat, there is a place for milk. If certain individuals, have a different opinion, I will respect that, but they can't force that on all of us.
Well, and again, they're not forcing it, but they have an opinion, and they have the right to display it, and it's freedom of speech. Do you have an issue with what they're saying or the methods in which they're using?
No, it's certainly the method they're doing it. It's like you said. It's a country we live in where we have the freedom to do so, and it's their choice. I would not want to go down to that level myself to attack someone else with not having, maybe the proper knowledge of how things are really happening at the farm. And I don't think it's very appropriate to try to confuse people, mislead people.
Okay, so when you say they're trying to confuse people, they would say, we're not confusing people, we're just showing you what goes on in the farm. That's all we're doing. It's simple as that. What do you say to that?
Then I have to say they're incorrect, because when I've been in farming myself for over 30 years, and when they describe that moms are crying, mother cows are crying when the calves is taken away, and the way they picture that picture, it's so far off the mark that I got to ask myself, have you ever been on a farm? Have you ever seen anything? And for that very reason, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just trying to ask them, educate yourself well.
What do you say to the person that's listening right now that says, well, of course, Gerrit's going to defend his position and he's going to say this. It's his livelihood. It's the industry that he's made his livelihood in. So therefore, you got to take that with a grain of salt. What do you say to that person?
What I will say to that person is that, we are very closely monitored, not only by the industry itself, by third parties, as I said, the Pro-Action program that's there. We're monitored, through, CFAA to if we have any animal abuse, we are having government that oversees us, so the cameras are on us, we are being watched just as close as anybody else, and I can certainly guarantee you that some of the things that are described aren't true.
Okay, one of the other accusations is that when the cows are going to slaughter at whichever point of their life, that's a terrifying experience. They're herded into these small, cramped quarters in these vehicles, or however it works, and that's a horrendous experience and a terrifying experience for these animals. What's your response to that?
Now, here once again, let's get the facts straight, people. Let's get the facts straight. There are requirements. There is only so many animals that can go on a truck. For example, when cows are, transported, they got to be able to lay down on a truck. It's not that they're jammed in there. They are in there, and if every cow wants to lay down, they can lay down. And it's no different with the time of transportation. They only can be transported a certain amount of time, and then they have to get off. This is all controlled by government. It's all monitored. So for that very reason, once again, please get the facts straight.
Are the animals social? Do they interact do they have distinct personalities? Do you have interaction in individual ways with these cows?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, because, it certainly each cow has their own character, and within the herd itself, every cow has kind of their own place. You got some of the bossy cows, I would say, and some cows that are more laid back, and as I said earlier on, farmers aren't in this business to just make 70, 80, 90, 100 weeks. Hours a week. Farmers are in this business because they enjoy it, and they want to, not only, enjoy what they're doing, they're producing a product that will feed many people and be part of, feeding the world.
Are you concerned at all that these types of campaigns will turn people away from your products?
Oh, certainly. I wouldn't say it is great to see these kind of campaigns, but I have to thank you for allowing me to be on the radio and to kind of give the other side of the coin. And yes, I really hope that these individuals that put these campaigns on are allowing themselves to be well informed and be strategic about it. Like have that conversation, and at the same time, as you earlier on said, we have our right of opinion. Yes, they have the right of opinion, but so do we. So does the public.
Do you plan on, have you had any conversations on a way to combat this or to counter it with your own type of marketing or campaign? Any idea or any plans for that?
We are certainly promoting our industry, like I said, through different means. And one of them is the Pro Action program. And like I said, I can't speak for the industry as a whole, but for as far as I'm concerned, we're not going down to the level of trying to attack people, or we have to respect one another, and we have to find a way forward that we can do that with maybe different views of opinions.
Gerrit, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care. That's Gerrit Damsteegt, a dairy farmer. And that's the other side of the story, as you've heard that said before. Now it's the opportunity for you to have your say, not just about that, but anything. Open hour. The toll-free number is 877.